Hello and welcome to It's Tea Time, our first episode in 2014. And today we're joined by Sandy Atkins, the Associate Director of Athletics for Troy University, while Director of Athletics John Hartwell is at the NCAA Convention. So Sandy, thank you for being here today.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure.
And we got a lot to talk about with it being the new year, and Happy New Year to you, and welcome. And basketball, they're underway, and they played over the break, one of the few teams to play over the break, but men coming back have actually been rolling with a big two-game winning streak on their road trip to Arkansas.
The men did very well. They Arkansas, which both teams were undefeated, the two Arkansas teams from Troy going in to play them, to come back with one victory, much less two victories, was fantastic. Telvin Calhoun had a really great road trip, taking Sunbelt of the Week honors, which was very nice to see that.
Yeah, anytime you get 35 points in college, that's a big night. And women seem a little bit of struggles, but they've got a long way to go in the Sunbelt season and a chance to pick it back up. Right.
The women have struggled a bit lately. They certainly have got a lot of talent on the team. It seems like they're right in the middle of the game playing very well and then kind of go through a little slump. But I do suspect to see that turnaround. They also, went out on the Arkansas trip, and the two Arkansas teams are very good in women's basketball too. So we do have Thursday night with the women playing Monroe and then Lafayette on Saturday. So hopefully we can turn that around. I know I was talking to Coach Rigby yesterday and changed a little practice times. I know the team came in this morning at 6 a.m. So trying to get the cobwebs out and get those guys back on track.
Do anything you can just to try to mix it up some. Both of those games will be double headers, women starting at 5:15 on Thursday and Saturday, and men following that one at 7:30 or roughly around that time.
Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about some upcoming sports. The softball facility, anybody who has driven by that area, it's come a long way, and it's really starting to look like it's nearing completion.
Right.
What's the update on that?
The artificial surface went down this past week, and it really makes a big difference. I've had a lot of comments about that, but we do open the season February the 6th. And right now, barring any weather catastrophes, we are certainly planning on making that date. That's we open up with Auburn University. So, we think the playing surface is going to be ready. The press box is going to be ready. The training facility might take a couple more weeks after that. So, certainly we, want to get in there as quick as we can. And, Coach Davis will tell you she wanted to be in there yesterday.
Right.
So, we certainly hope too that she can have some opportunity to practice with it being an artificial surface.
Well, there's a look at it right now, actually,
as
we see the surface going down. So.
That's something that is relatively new in the sport of softball, with artificial surfaces going down. Obviously, with our baseball team having the artificial surface, it really worked out well, and so we're really excited about it. But again, I know Coach is chomping at the bit to get out there and at least get some practice time on the facility.
Now, you being a softball player in your time here, did you ever get to play on an artificial surface?
No, it's funny, not to age myself at all, but when I was a softball student athlete here, we played at the Sportsplex.
Okay.
So, from where we were 20 years ago to what we have today, I can't say enough good things about this facility in particular. It'll be hands down the best facility in the Sun Belt Conference. Dr. Hawkins and our key supporters have just gotten behind the program, and it really is a testament to how far we've come in women's sports, but softball in particular too, because the facility is top notch.
Well, and as I believe John Hartwell always likes to say, it's an arms race. You're basically trying to keep up with everybody else, and this is really going to help the softball team be able to keep up in recruiting and take it to the next level. Right.
I mean, that's what Division I sports is about. It's about recruiting, and you got to get the athletes in, and so much about it is swag these days.
Exactly right.
But I suspect that. With that facility, we shouldn't have any trouble with our recruiting. Well,
I know we'll keep on promoting this, but it's February 6th will be the opener in that facility against Auburn. So, I mean, you don't get much better than that, facing a big in-state rival to open up the facility. So hopefully a huge crowd for that one.
Right, and then following that, the weekend tournament, which Alabama comes. So we'll be playing Alabama on Sunday.
That'd be perfect. Auburn and Alabama in the
Right.
same week. Hopefully 2 W's against those teams. Well, also the baseball and softball team will be having their annual Fan Day, which has become a big event as well, and that'll be in that first week of February.
Absolutely. We've done Fan Day at a couple of different places, but either at the baseball field or the softball field this year, we are going to put it February the 1st in between our men's and women's basketball games. So we'll be doing a baseball and softball promotion for that. Hadn't quite worked out all the details, but we're certainly planning on having that between those 2 games and putting out pitching exhibitions at halftime, so some of the folks can see how softball pitchers pitch and baseball pitchers and really how fast they are throwing.
All right, well, we've got some exciting news, some breaking news now on It's Tea Time with some Hall of Fame news, the Troy University Athletics Hall of Fame. And would you like to give us some of that news?
Yeah, absolutely. We our board of advisors met before Christmas, and we contacted. We do have our 3rd class. We've been able to contact them all. We haven't put the press release will go out today. So I did make some notes. Certainly didn't want to forget anybody or just a few accolades, but certainly we'll share those with you. Like I said, we do have 8 nominees that are going into our 3rd class. We've obviously had two Hall of Fame banquets before then, which have just really gone over very, very well. Right. It's scheduled for March the 29th, which March 29th is also our Tea Club Day, or Letterman's Day, if you will. We'll have Tea Day the Tea Day football game that day. There's also softball doubleheaders. We're also working with the alumni group to, there'll be several alumni functions going on. That's March the 29th. But the Hall of Fame class is Danny Cox. He's a baseball player that played with us in 1981, and during that year he led the NCAA in scoreless innings and posted a 1.3 ERA. So we're excited about that. Mike Griffin, who was a fantastic golf coach, was also a golf student athlete here. 2 national championships, a runner-up, 9 straight NCAA appearances, and 7 Gulf South Conference championships. Wow. Perry Griggs, he held the all-purpose yardage for 30 years with over 4,000 all-purpose yards, played in 1974. Ted Horsted, he was a part of the '84 national championship team. He's 2nd career-wise in rushing. So those are some good names. Anthony Reed, who a basketball student athlete, who's currently the all-time points leader in basketball with 1,875 points. Rick Rhodes, who's one of 3 coaches to win a national championship at Troy. He was coaching the '87 team, was also the defensive coordinator on the '84 team, so Coach Rhodes. O.C. Umenyiora, probably the most famous name. He certainly is. He's playing with the Atlanta Falcons, and he's one of the most feared linemen in the NFL. Right. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings and has made 2 Pro Bowl appearances. And then the 8th one is Paul Word, who's a basketball player for us. Paul played in the early '60s, and he's 15th on the all-time scoring list, and one of 22 that has had over 1,000 points scored in Troy's basketball history. So, we're really excited about the Hall of Fame banquet. It's something that gives us an opportunity to showcase our talent and those that have come before us. So it's a fantastic event, and we're certainly looking forward to that. And
a great group of nominees, a wide array of people, but different players and coaches from all different sports. So that'll be an exciting event to attend. You said March 29th. Any of the other details? It'll be at evening, and you can rent tables or rent individual tickets.
The tables are $800 a table. It's $100 a ticket. We have sold out the first 2 years. We've had 65 tables, is as many as we can have on the Trojan Arena floor. So it's like I said, it's been very successful. And it really is a top-notch event. It's probably it is the top-notch event that we put on every year. So.
Now, do you know when those tickets will go on sale?
You can contact the athletic offices today. Okay. 670-3482. Okay. And go ahead and reserve those tickets starting today.
All right. Well, thank you, and it's exciting to hear about that. And once again, March 29th will be the date of that induction. So anybody want to get out there and go attend that, just touch with the athletics office. I'm sure that'll be in the press releases as well, so you can check out TroyTrojans.com for all that information. So, Sandy, thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for more coming up on It's Tea Time. Welcome back to It's Tea Time, and the indoor track and field season got underway this weekend, and here to talk about it is going to be Jeff Jenkins. And Coach, y'all were up at the UAB Invitational, or the Blazer Invitational, over the weekend, and some pretty good performances up there.
Yeah, we saw some good things out of a couple individuals and a couple good relays. And you know, this women's team is very young, and so we had a lot of freshmen out there competing in a college uniform for the first time. So it was good to see some good marks go down.
Well, that's something we heard a lot about the cross-country team, was just the youth, and that's something we're going to see with track and field as well.
Absolutely, especially on the women's side. When we have this indoor season, the women competing just about every week, all the way up until our conference championships in February. So, you know, we saw some good things out of Haley Watts in the pole vault. She did pretty well. You know, I think she tied her personal best, was very close to it. And in the first meet of the season, that's a good thing to see. And Julia Alstendorf, and we had a couple 400 runners, and a bunch of people made the all-time list, the top 10 list on Troy's list. And for some of those people, it's their first college event. To see that was definitely a good thing to see.
Now, I know some people may wonder, I mean, you're just running indoors, but are there any major differences between the outdoor season and the indoor season?
Absolutely. I would say that as a program, we've put a lot more focus on the outdoor season, but indoor is very important. The tracks are a lot shorter and the curves are a lot tighter. And in most tracks, the curves are banked, so they're raised up with hydraulics. And so a lot of people, this is their first time running on an indoor track, and so they're having to get used to running on that bank, and it can be a little challenging.
And is it also just really a chance to get out of the weather where you're still being able to train, but a chance to get inside so you're not having to deal with the cold?
Well, that's the whole idea, is that, you know, in the South, we don't have many indoor tracks because we can train outdoors all year long.
Right.
But a lot of the northern schools and states where it's a lot cooler, it's nice for them to be able to come in. And the NCAA has created a championship for the indoor season. So now it's full-fledged, and we have a conference championship and an NCAA championship.
Well, and you'll be back competing this weekend. Sanford, so you'll be going back to the same indoor track in Birmingham earlier in the week, and then you'll be going to Kentucky. Can you just talk about those?
Well, the Sanford meet is a multi-only meet,
okay.
And so our pentathletes and heptathletes will go up there and compete in multiple events, just to try to, basically every event, the mark that they get gives them a certain amount of points, and there's a scale that goes towards that. And so those people, they're going to be, you know, we have those events at our conference championships, but we will actually be taking a couple of guys to that meet as well,
okay.
Just to kind of, we do that as a sports sponsorship type thing, and they're able to get some experience for the outdoor season to come.
Okay. And what about the Kentucky meet?
Well, we're going up there to Lexington, and they're going to have a 300-meter track there, so it's very nice to be able to run on those. Instead of 50-meter straightaways, we get 75-meter straightaways, and the curves are a little wider and a little longer. So we're not having to run on that big steep bank, and on the straightaways, especially for the distance events, which I speak directly for, they have more of opportunity to pass other runners during the straightaway because you don't necessarily want to pass on the curves.
Now, is there any way for you to prepare for these different tracks, from a 200-meter track to a 300-meter track, or do y'all just go the day before a little early and work on them there?
It's difficult for sure, but with us having the experience of having an in-state indoor track and going up to Birmingham a pretty good bit, we get the experience of running on that track. There's no way to kind of simulate that bank unless we run on the side of a hill or something like that, but they kind of get the feel of it while they're up there the first day.
All right, Jeff. Well, thank you for joining us, and good luck on those two meets over the weekend.
Thanks for having me.
All right, stay tuned for some women's basketball coming up on It's Tea Time. Well, now it's time to talk a little basketball on It's Tea Time, and we're joined by the women's basketball head coach, Shanda Rigby. And Coach, thanks for being here.
Hi, great to be here. Thank you.
Now, I know it's kind of been some tough times for the women's basketball team, and let's talk a little bit about the Arkansas road trip. You lost to Arkansas State and Arkansas Little Rock, but some positives. You got to find some positives to take out of those losses.
Yes, I'm the most optimistic 0-4 in conference coach there is. I truly believe we're right on the verge of turning it around. In this first 4 games in conference, we have played the top 3 teams in the conference that were voted in the preseason. And prior to that, we played 2 SEC teams on the road. So we played 6 of our last 7 on the road, a lot of tough teams. And we're a young team and still maturing, so I'm very optimistic, and hopefully this Thursday night is the night we play ULM at home.
Well, let's talk about that game. You face ULM at home. What better way to get that first conference win than at home against a Sunbelt team?
That's what we're really working on, and we've really come home and got down to business. The coaches, we even let our players do the scout report on this team. In other words, we gave them the film to watch. We gave them the statistics on the team coming up. They got together as a team on Sunday and met and came up and presented the coaches with the game plan.
Okay.
So they're really involved in trying to get this win on Thursday.
Well, I think we saw that picture on y'all's the Troy Women's Basketball Twitter feed. We saw them going over the scouting report that was put out earlier today, or maybe yesterday. But I mean, that's trying to just mix it up, do anything you can.
Absolutely. I believe, as their coach, I know we're right on the verge. The most important thing is to be a dealer of hope as their leader right now and make sure that they keep the belief.
Well, what do you know about this ULM team?
Extremely athletic. Of course, last year we fell to them twice, and they have every starter from last year is starting again this year. So we're very familiar with them. They're very long wingspan, very athletic, long, lanky. They can give you a lot of trouble if you don't fake your passes and make good passes. They get a lot of steals per game, and just an athletic team.
All right, and then we'll look a little bit ahead to Saturday's game. You face Lafayette, another tough Sunbelt team. What do you know about them?
Lafayette go way back with their coach. He's a coach from Louisiana, and he loves to get after you, full court pressure. They're usually the hardest working, most active team you will play, just really like to play tough defense.
Is it similar to what the style we'll see from your team?
Yes, very similar, very similar.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Joanna Harden. She got an honor today. She was named to the Lieberman Award watch list for the top point guard in the country. That's a big honor.
Exactly. If that doesn't bring people out to Trojan Arena Thursday night, one of the top 25 guards in the nation is right here in Troy, and she's working so hard. She's 6th in the nation in scoring. She's top in Sunbelt in scoring. She really puts up a lot of points. We've been talking to her lately about attacking earlier in the game. At our trip in Arkansas, our last game there, she ended up scoring 26 points in the game, which is normal for her, but she never scored until the last 2.5 minutes of the first half. So what we're trying to get her to do is attack earlier. Who knows, she might get those numbers on up to 30 or 40 a game if we can get her doing that.
Well, she is one of my favorite players to watch. I know she can shoot lights out, but one of my favorite things to watch about her is she's got good moves, and I've seen her break many ankles out there. She is good at that, of getting defenders on their bottom. So
yes, I think people dread playing her because, and even in the articles today that were written about her on the national level, just how good she is at getting to the free throw line because of those moves, and she's one of the nation's top free throw shooters as well.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you for joining us, and good luck this weekend and starting off against ULM on Thursday.
Thank you.
All right, and stay tuned to learn a little about men's basketball coming up on It's Tea Time. Welcome back to our final interview on It's Tea Time, and we're joined by the Director of Basketball Operations, Mike Worley. And Mike, I'm sure you're riding pretty high after that road trip to Arkansas, where y'all were able to pick up 2 big road wins in the Sun Belt Conference.
Yeah, we were, Jonathan. We were able to win at Arkansas State in Jonesboro before a pretty good sized crowd, and then also at the University of Arkansas Little Rock, which preseason you're talking about, 2 of the top, depending on which poll you look at, 4 or 5 teams in the league. So that was a good road trip for us.
Well, after starting 0-2 against Western Kentucky and Georgia State, how big were those wins in Arkansas?
Well, they're big because they help your momentum headed home with the students back here now. And then also in league play, the way you look at that is if you can win road games, that's really a double positive.
Right.
Because really what teams try to do is defend what they have at their home court, and then if you can get a road win, that's a bonus.
Right.
And so to win once and then win twice is pretty important for us. And we're excited that now coming home, we've got the students here to help us because we've played 3 out of 4 of the conference games on the road.
We'll talk about those games in just a minute, but we got to still talk about this road trip with Tevin Calhoun really stepping up big time, almost coming out of nowhere with those 35 points on 7 of 9 on 3-point shooting against Arkansas State, and then still getting 17 in that game against Arkansas Little Rock to win Sunbelt Player of the Week honors. I mean, just a big weekend for him. Yeah,
Tevin's a very talented young man, and so he's been right at the cusp of breaking out offensively, and he had a great night at Arkansas State from behind the line at 3-point distance, and he's a good shooter. And he took good shots. And part of what we try to teach is if you're going to take good shots within the system we run, we're going to put you in a position to make them. And that's what he did. He made a bunch of them.
Right. Well, I think that it's been kind of the struggles with the team is just everybody putting together an offensive performance, and you really saw that in both games over the weekend, and that had to be good to see.
Right. We were already guarding people pretty well. Field goal percentage defense has been good, and we have done a good job in the half court of keeping the opponent from trying to put it in the basket.
Right.
We just didn't always have the same opportunity or we had the opportunity, but we didn't convert on the offensive end the same way we were doing defensively. We weren't as good. So to be able to play a game where we not only continued to hold people defensively, but then also executed our offense and scored the basketball. That was important.
Exactly right. Now you're going to be back home this weekend, Thursday and Saturday, starting off Thursday against Louisiana Monroe. And what are your thoughts on that game?
Well, I think, Louisiana Monroe is a dangerous team because they're athletic, but they're undersized. And so from in some ways, they pose some problems for us that are different than the two teams we just beat on the road. And they're better. They're better than they've been, and so we're going to have to play. We have to have a good effort and play well to beat them here. And we need a lot of fans to turn out, a lot of students. Lafayette has a preseason All Sun Belt type player, Sean Long, that'll come in here and play, possible NBA type draft pick kid, and he'll be here Saturday. And Lafayette, has always been traditionally very good in the Sun Belt. So again, that'll be a tough game. We hope students stay around through the weekend and will come out to both games.
Well, yeah, that was my question. I mean, how important is it not only have just the fans, but the students out there and because they're going to be the ones that are going to be lively, maybe getting at the other team a little bit. How important is that for the home court advantage?
It's huge because, with that arena, we need a large contingent of students to make it loud because it seats just about the right amount of people. But, we've got to be loud and boisterous in there to create that kind of home court advantage that we need.
And those games both start at 7:30 or around 7:30 after the women's games on both nights, Thursday and Saturday.
Correct. You'll get a chance to come out and you can watch the women's team, and you can stick around, get some popcorn, and watch the men's team.
All right. Well, good luck this weekend. Hopefully we'll pick up 2 W's against the teams from Louisiana.
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. And join us again next week for more on It's Tea Time.